and welcome to Let's Get Growing. It's Jo Swann here, the educational gardener from Bulwell Forest Garden in Nottingham, and we're in the middle of April, and yeah, April showers. The weather's very changeable. It's been very fickle at the moment. One moment we've got glorious sunshine, and then the next it's chucking it down. So let's get cracking, let's get growing, let's get on with our packs. Okay, so this week's pack, you've got a Calendula, which is an English marigold, and we've got a giant sunflower, which is already shooting away, and we've got a tiny little Roma tomato plant, which is a plum tomato. So the first thing we're going to do with these is just put them into bigger pots. So we're going to pop them on. So you could put your calendula into the ground. It's pretty hardy. We've planted some of ours out already. But if you want to grow it in a pot, you can do. Or if you're not quite sure where to grow it, putting it into a pot's a good thing to do. Okay. That's easy. And then I'm going to do the same with all of them. So the giant sunflower, I think it's too early to put them out yet, and I think they'll just get bashed with the winds, and also if we get a frost they'll get hit by them. So we're going to put them in a pot. So I'm just going to put some compost in the bottom of my pot, tip my pot up, squeeze it, it's filled its pot, put it back in the centre of my pot, some compost back around it. This is peat-free compost. And then press it down, put my label back in, and then finally the little Roma tomato. We've only just pricked these out, so I don't think this is actually, I'm not going to put it into the bigger pot, but they do grow quite quickly. So what you will need to do is to keep checking it, tipping it. You should be able to see its roots come here when it's ready for potting on, and you could put it into the next size up. So I don't need to do anything with that. Now I wanted to show you some plants from the seeds we grew last time, and these were the flat leaf parsley. So some of these are ready to prick out. That would be these ones here, because they've got what's called the true leaves. So this is the true leaves, but these ones aren't quite ready to prick out yet. So I'm going to leave these a little while longer, but I did want to show you a little bit of pricking out, because it's the basic principle is the same for all plants really. So these are some tomatoes, the Gardener's Delight tomatoes, and so what I'm going to do is put these individually into pots. So I think the trickiest thing is the actual taking out of the seedling without damaging them. So I'm just going to have a little dig in there and take a little clump out. And then I'm going to handle the plants with their leaves rather than their roots, like that. So that's its root system there. So I'm going to put these into individual pots. So I'll fill my pot up, dib a hole, and then I'm going to put the roots back into where they were growing, the depth of where they were growing, and then press them down. And then I'll just do it with these three that are in here, just to show you again. We'll just separate them. And then they're going to need a water straight away. So this is what you'll be doing with your parsleys once they get their true leaves. So that's it, that's pricking out. Okay, so we're just going to have a little look at some of our plants outside from previous packs. Okay, so we're just going to deal with some plants from previous packs at the end of last year, which are actually getting a bit too big for the pots. And what I've decided to do is to put them into this nice big pot. So I've got a clary sage, Dame's Violet, Sweet Rocket, I've got an Oriental Poppy, and I've got a Canterbury Bell, and they all kind of need something doing with them. So what I'm going to do, you can see that that's filled its pot. We're going to put that in there. That one's filled its pot. I'm going to tease this one out a little bit because it really has filled its pot. That's it. And I've got an oriental poppy. Same again here. And I'll put that at the front. And then my Canterbury bell, which is looking a little bit sad, but hopefully I'm just going to take some of them dead leaves off. Hopefully it'll respond to being potted on. And I'm just using a mixture of homemade compost and old potting compost in this big pot rather than filling it all. So what I will do is fill in all these gaps, give it a water, and then we'll see what happens. You should have a nice display out of that in a few weeks. So these are all the plants from previous packs, which I think kind of demonstrates that you probably could make a garden from being on our scheme. So what I wanted to show you in particular, if you come a bit closer, is the broad beans. So these are the broad beans we sowed in autumn, and they're starting to form their pods. They've got these beautiful flowers, which I think are quite decorative anyway. But yeah, we'll also have something to eat from there quite soon. Okay, and that's it for today. So thanks very much for watching, and happy growing.